without further ado, let me please welcome to the stage Miss Charisma Carpenter, Miss Amber Benson, and Miss Julie Bell.
Good.
Welcome to the
Good.
I
Good morning, everyone.
Good afternoon. Hey, let's go over there for the very first question while I clear my throat.
Hey, good afternoon, ladies. My name is Marcus, Buffy. I'm originally from Germany, and my question is, you know that your show got dubbed in Germany, and have you ever had the chance to listen to the dubbed versions in Germany, or ever met the voice actors?
No, but I'm sure they got somebody really annoying for my voice. That's what they usually do in other countries.
I hate to say that, but it's very similar.
Which means it's lovely.
It's good. It's
lovely.
good.
I've heard the French and the German dubs when I was in Berlin and in Paris, and I actually thought they sounded really good. So
I think I just got DM'd some stuff, some scenes that is done in first English and then in Spanish, and I thought it was great. I haven't heard the German version yet, but it is highly entertaining.
So, judging by your accent, you speak German, yes?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite line from the movie you care to, or from the show you care to say?
Oh my God, the last time I watched it was when it
So
came out.
translate, what's your childhood trauma?
I'm so used now to the original version. I've lived here for quite some time now, so I don't know.
I love the idea, though, that you can watch something that's dubbed. I'm an anime fan, right? So I'm watching anime all the time, and I see the dubbing, and I've never actually listened to it in primarily Japanese because I don't speak it. So it's always fun to meet the voice actors, the American voice actors, or the English-speaking voice actors who bring life to something, right? So I'd be curious to see who gets the job over there in Germany, and they're like, okay, you're a witch. This is what you're going to do. You're a vampire slayer.
I would like to hear you say that line, God, what's your childhood trauma, in German for me, and obviously using all the inflection that quickly would have.
Oh my God, das ist echt schwer. Ich habe keine Ahnung. You caught me on the spot.
I feel like you need a little more oomph. Let's try it one more time. One more time. Give me a really solid God, and then. Sorry?
Oh Guy, oh Giles. Nein, das kann ich nicht machen.
Nein!
Das funktioniert nicht.
Bravo!
Thank you, ladies.
And thank you for saving me while I cleared my voice.
Well done being put on the spot.
Right?
Acting class with charisma.
You are hired for voice work, by the way. You can dub anything for us in German. Hi, how are you?
hi, my name is Ananda Sabat Sandy, and I'm going to usurp this way from Buffy for just a moment for Amber. Thank you for voicing Nightfall. If everybody doesn't know, the Elfquest audio movie, second episode just dropped. Can we get an Iowa from you? No, I just did. They did an animated, well, sort of audio movie of Elfquest, and it's fabulous. It's so good, and they got amazing voice actors involved, and they actually brought me a drawing of the character, and when we were in DC.
100% favorite.
So, sorry.
Nightfall is my absolute favorite, has been since day one.
Aww.
Yay! Thank you. What have you guys been working on these days? So you mentioned this. Are there other projects or things that you're super interested in right now?
Charisma's gonna write a book.
Oh my God.
Now it's out
Tell us
there.
about the book.
Now it's out there.
Amy Foster.
She should write a kid's book. I mean, a YA book with her friend Amy, who is a YA author, right? Everybody would read this book. Now you have to do it.
She's evil.
I see Amy nodding over there, right? So I love this. The partnership is formed here.
I want my 10%.
Moving on.
But that was a great deflection. So what else are you working on?
Should I take it?
Yeah, please.
All right. Well, mostly I write. So I've been actually working on like some Hallmark Channel mysteries for the last of COVID, but it looks like we're gonna be making the last one that I did. So I'm excited. Fingers crossed that it gets greenlit. So yeah, so I've been working on that, and then I went and I did like a small cameo in a film that'll be coming out, and we shot it in New Jersey. That was really fun.
Will you
I
talk?
saw the glow from the team. Yeah, I saw the glow. Our director Kate Schoenbrunn. She, they had done another film that came out, and they their stuff is amazing. But they had written this film, and it's so good. It's a genre like a little bit of horror, a little bit of fantasy and sci-fi, and I can't go into detail, but it's amazing. I was like, I will do craft service, anything to be on the set of this. They killed it. It's an amazing script, and I think it's going to be an amazing film. So.
And the lifetime thing.
Yeah,
Wait, you talk about your part, what you did.
That I wrote something that they're not going to make anymore.
No, I feel like that was purchased and it got.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's awesome.
No, I feel like we do a lot of things that like you do them and then like they go straight to video, and you're like we did this thing that you can't really see except in like some weird streaming YouTube thing. That's what my writing life is like too now. It's like, oh, you did this thing, but we're not gonna make it. You're like, but I spent so much of my hard blood. Yeah. Tears, sad tears.
But that does become just a part of the experience of doing this job, right?
Yeah.
It's such a rare thing to have a show like Buffy that has the staying power. So
It's super rare.
I think to be able to still be creative in the field, no matter where it ends up, because you know it'll find an audience, right? It will.
Well, I feel like we're all of us, like do other things and are creative and have ideas for things and things that we want to, and she's got lots of ideas for shows and stuff that she wants to do, and I think we all have like that creator inside of us.
So moving my way down, Charisma, what are you working on these days?
First of all, it's the most annoying question ever. I hate it.
I'm so sorry. I feel terrible.
It's just every actor's nightmare, to just have to like give your resume. But it's not personal. But it's just challenging because, as we get older and women in Hollywood, it is harder to get the jobs that you want or to even be seen, or because you are established and you are known for a certain genre, then it's difficult to be seen outside of that idea of who you are and what you're capable of. And I was actually just having this incredible conversation with somebody recently where they said, we were having a conversation about being your authentic self, and I just, it's interesting as an actor how you embody a role to play someone else, but then if you didn't bring an element of yourself, like I think your job benefits by bringing your authentic core self to a role, because what would the words mean without your knowledge of music or poetry or travel or friendships and life experience? So to be able to do that as a job is such, for me, like a gift, and it's something I will always want to do, and I just wish we could do more of it. I did do Dynasty recently, which was received super well, which made me so happy because I love acting. But on the other hand of things, I'm creating a virtual community called MyCon, which I'm looking to launch soon. And, being an entrepreneur or a CEO of a thing that you have a vision and you did it for yourself and now you want to expand it and bring on more people is really outside my comfort zone, and I've had to level up on a lot of levels. And computers, just to start with, I went back to school and I took some administrative justice courses because politics is very important to me. So I think the older I get, the less time I feel I have to do the things that I love and enjoy. My interests keep broadening as I get older, and I think that would be an interesting pivot as well. So I don't know, I'm kind of doing it all.
I appreciate that. And to be clear, when I asked...
And I co-created a couple of TV shows that I am pitching, but I haven't sold yet, with a writer friend of mine named Dan Merchant, who I love and adore very much.
I'll keep my fingers crossed for that project as well. When I'm asking sort of what is it that you're working on, it's not necessarily being on camera, but you spark a good point. There's an actress who I worked with at a different Comic-Con who was talking about being in her 50s and trying to get work and what it means to grow old. I'm almost 50. I did TV news here for 20 years and they just fired a woman for having gray hair on the air. So it's something that is very germane to the work I do as well, and so I appreciate you talking about that. But I do love that you've got all these projects and that you're still, growing and learning and doing new things. What have you been up to these days? And that's not, here we go, it's the worst question ever, right? But yeah, but you had some time to think about it.
I've been learning Spanish. I started during the pandemic.
español, por favor.
And I'm still not speaking it, not publicly. I'm very good at reading it, but I'm still insecure about speaking it. But no, I just wrapped a movie, a little indie film with an amazing young director who's on the spectrum. And he wrote and directed the film as well as raised money for it. He's only 20 years old. And an absolutely incredible project called The Midway Point. And it was such a joy to be a part of. So I'm really happy that I was able to do that film. And I'm just living my life, enjoying being able to be out and about in the world and traveling. And I feel like I lost 2 years of my life basically sitting at home. I just turned 50, so those 2 years were very important. So that's about it.
I keep telling myself that those 2 years, especially if we're in our 50s, was we preserved.
Yeah.
Because we had to stay indoors and there was no sun damage. That's what I'm trying to silver line it. And anyway, just always about me.
I feel like those 2 years aged me, incredibly.
Well,
But we suffered, I lost 9 people during the first year of the pandemic. 9 people very, very close to me and my husband. And so it was literally every month there was somebody close to us passing away, whether it was from COVID or from other medical issues. So we really had a year of incredible grief. And that was the first year of the pandemic. And then the second year, we were just trying to get our feet under us, dealing with grief. I've never experienced such deep depths of grief before. So it was really tough. And I think that's why we ended up with 4 dogs.
I mean, fair.
Which is kind of crazy.
Dogs make everything better.
And 4 of them.
I do see your dogs on your Instagram and it cracks me up because they are the stars of the show.
There's a lot.
And certainly for everyone here, we appreciate all of you abiding by the mask mandate that Rose City Comic-Con has put in place for everybody's safety. We're socially distanced up here, but we are wearing them back there. Just see me when I'm on the floor. So a big thank you for all of you doing your part. We'll be right over there in a second. A question to you over here.
Hi, my name's Kaylee. I was just hoping I could find out what was each of your favorite episodes to shoot on Buffy or Angel?
Favorite episode?
Yeah, what was fun?
The musical. That's my favorite. That was so much fun. What a weird, to be able to do something like that, what a bananas thing to, it was, of course it went on and on because you can't really do what we did in 8 days. So they would continually show up with my little princess outfit in my trailer, we're gonna do some pickups. I was like, oh no, I gotta get back in the corset. Thank God I'm lip syncing, I can barely breathe. What should have taken 8 days probably took about 20, but it was awesome. It was such a good experience, and what a weird.
Wow, that's a challenging question. I think for Angel, it would have been the episode where Cordy had her sitcom, because that's always been my dream to start my own sitcom. I did shoot a pilot for a sitcom eons ago, Tyler Levine, for UPN with Adam Chase, who was the showrunner of Friends and Warren Littlefield, but it didn't get picked up. Instead, Veronica Mars got picked up, and then they put me on Veronica Mars, so that it kind of worked out. But that was a great episode. That was a lot of fun. As for Buffy, I think it was the Homecoming episode. I say different things all the time. I just saw some clips of that recently. I love when the fans DM me scenes that they liked, because then I've never done a rewatch. So I really, oh yeah, I love that episode, and the whole spatula thing, and I do remember careening face first into a nightstand that was on the set because I tripped on the antlers that were on the floor, and you know, that was also like a tidbit that was kind of tragic and funny and scary, and it all worked out. But you know, working on a set is dangerous. It's dangerous. Dangerous work. I always had I had to get a tetanus shot because the nurse didn't understand that the antlers were set antlers, and like not really antlers, but like I didn't know because I was out of it and in pain, and then I'm like, why? And then it didn't go, the needle broke off, and she had to do the other arm, so yeah, that's a little behind the scenes. I've never shared that before, yay!
And it's her favorite episode.
It's my favorite episode, not because of that. But it was fun, and that's, you know, I love that because I don't think you guys ever heard that story. And after 25 years of answering these questions, I'm glad to keep it fresh.
Great question, thank you. What about for you?
Obviously, my favorite episode is called Darla. I mean, mine was Yours was Darla. I mean, and I think too it was because I really got to work a lot with Juliet and James because it was a crossover. It was that crossover episode that they did. So it was really fun to have like me and David and Juliet and James all together like as the foursome badass vampires. So that was a lot of fun. My favorite scene that I've ever shot though was not in that episode. My favorite scene was in Dear Boy. And it's when I take the cross out and I hold it to Angel's chest and I say, God doesn't want you, but I still do. And that scene was just magic shooting it. We were in a water tank deep in the valley, underground. And I just remember it was just a really magical day. David and I just like really, it just was one of those days where you're like, I love my job, you know.
Pylea, anything in Pylea was fun during Angel. That was a great experience as well, and you know, being Queen was awesome, and working with the Grease Like, you know, there's lots.
Basically, it's just hard for her to pick one. She loves them all.
You know, it was great. It's a rare thing to be able to say those words and have the magic on the paper to begin with, and then be able to say and recite and experience and explore in person with your scene partner.
I would say too, it was one of the rare shows that I've ever worked on where you're constantly being challenged. Every episode you're being asked to do something that's outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like for me, I had to ride a horse through fire, I had to be buried alive, I had to sing, and it was like, and then the emotional challenges as well because the storylines were just so huge and epic. I haven't really had shows like challenge me in that way, so that's why it's hard to pick just one.
It's true, and I think like the reality of it is like a lot of people say when you do soap operas that it's a real learning experience. You're doing 85 pages of shoot. I would never survive that. But what I think is true about Buffy and Angel was it really was one of those experiences where you're learning to fight, you're learning to do drama, you're learning to do comedy, you're also learning a new language. And I don't think there's enough talked about that. Like there's a specific jaw speak to the way that we talk on the show that you had to catch up to.
And we had to be like word perfect. There was no improv.
Yeah. So,
Very little, very little.
no, yeah, it's, you know, every grammatical thing. I mean, we can all say
Every comma, every period, every question mark, every everything had to
for a
be,
reason.
yes.
Yeah. So it was a very big, like for your first show to be, well, my first show is not the shortest, but really 8 episodes, so it doesn't count. But, you know, to be on that show, you know, being really my first job of any kind of length was, you know, great, and then also terrible because I've never had that caliber of writing since. You know, I feel like Veronica Mars is probably the next level. How about you guys? It has any, well, Soderbergh, that, forget it. But, yeah, that was pretty special. So.
Thank you for your question. Yeah, this reminded me, I was just watching, we've got Rainn Wilson coming out here on the main stage tomorrow from The Office, and he was talking to Steve Carell.
I bet he's never rode a horse through fire before.
I will make sure to ask him.
Although I want to meet him. I saw he was going to be
kind of
so excited.
Yes, actually, so you're welcome to. Like, look at me, I'm gonna get fired because you guys are gonna come screaming up here on the stage and be like, "Well, you meet my friends, they're really nice." He's gonna be like, "What is going on?" So tomorrow when he comes out, though, I do want to ask him about this. To your point, he's never rewatched. So he was talking to Steve Carell about this, and Steve Carell was like, "People will ask me questions at a Comic-Con, and I don't remember because I watched it like like you guys all had to at the end of the shift or whatever, and then that was it."
Yeah.
And so I know you said you didn't really rewatch, or maybe not now or ever.
I mean, I tried to rewatch with my son, but then his disinterest was like, "Oh, forget it. It's not gonna happen."
That's cool.
That was sort of my like hope, you know, that he would find me cool eventually, or I'd have some kind of mom credibility, or like, no.
I'm constantly trying to get my kid to think I'm cool.
Honestly, stay away from campus. Don't come around. Like, no, he doesn't have anything to do with that at all. He does not want more attention at all.
So no rewatching for you. What about you? Do you rewatch?
No, I'm not a big rewatcher of anything, but I was talking to somebody about this earlier. This idea that like when you're in it as an actor, like you're like memorizing all these lines, and then you have to like forget them and memorize a whole new bunch of lines a week later. So I think, I don't know if this is the case with you guys, but I kind of feel like I didn't retain anything because I was busy like living it, and then it got sort of excreted, and then living it and excreted, like I'm a mollusk or something. But I did a trivia thing for New York Comic Con one year, and they gave me all the Buffy questions. I didn't get any of them right, so now I'm barred from not allowed. But I think you live it so much, and you were so in it that like sometimes it's like high school. I don't think about high school, but it was like high school for us, or like it was like being, that was a different moment in life, and yeah.
But now I have to ask, what show would you get all the trivia questions for? Is there one? It's not one you were.
I'm not if it was books. I'm no more about books.
That's like, who am I thinking of? The talk show host who loves Lord of the Rings and knows Steve Colbert, thank you. Like Steve Colbert and Lord of the Rings, every single, I knew they would know. He knows everything. He's like an encyclopedic knowledge. You could go to him and be like, "Hey, we want to remake this. What's the lore?" He will know. Okay, so books. I respect it. I like it. What about you? Do you rewatch?
I don't watch in the first place, let alone rewatch. What's the point? I mean, it's so hard to see yourself on TV because when you see it, you're analyzing so many other things and not the acting, not the work. So I've just made a practice now not to even watch, especially the older I get. It's just not worth it. So yeah, I don't watch, rewatch, none of it.
Similar in other lines of work that I do, because I'll pick something weird. My face is crooked and it's all I see, and then I start focusing on that and it gets in my head for the next stuff that I want to do. It's ridiculous. Question over here to you. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm from here in Portland. So Buffy's meant, and Angel has meant a lot for me. I found it when I was 18, and it took me through, and I still rewatch it when I feel down. But so I want to know what you already told some lines, but what were your favorite things to say that maybe you thought were funny or whatever?
There was one episode with a baby where I brought a baby for Angel to feast on, and we could not get through that scene without laughing hysterically, and the baby was the only actor performing its job perfectly. And we got in so much trouble, and I forget what the line was, but it was really, we couldn't get through it, and the baby was supposed to look at me and then pan over and look at David, and the baby did every single time, but we fucked it up every single time. We got in so much trouble. So, I mean, that was probably one of my favorite moments working on the show, like the
If he
funniest
gets the
moment.
giggles, it's the worst. You're done.
Well, David's the worst too with it. Yeah.
Oh, wait, before you go, I would like to give her props. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. What are your names?
I'm Mindy.
Mindy.
I'm Katie.
Hi, guys. Thank you for being here.
You're very welcome. This is actually my gig. I coordinate interpreters for this and for AwesomeCon, so I'm enjoying you guys again.
Hey, thank you.
I love it. It's like family on the road, right? It's probably that way for you guys as well with everything you've done.
Yeah.
You get a chance to get back together. It's like, oh, hi, it's so nice to see you, you know?
My favorite line, I have so many, but one of my favorites is, that's just propaganda spouted out by the ugly and less deserving. Now I remember it. Then there's, you're welcome. There are, good to know you've seen the softer side of Sears, God, what's your childhood trauma? I mean, like, I have so many zingers. Or I don't really need your fringe vote. I mean, so many.
You remember all that?
I don't know.
I can't remember a damn line.
I think you need, like, you know, the live, laugh, love, but you need that with your zingers just all over the house. Like, I don't need your fringe vote. That's in the bathroom.
Well,
like, you know.
that comes to me because of the political climate lately. So I actually had a T-shirt made that says that. So
That's cool.
yeah, I love it,
I like it.
and
What
I
about for you?
wear it around my Republican family. Sorry if you're Republican, but
Makes
I
for
have
lively
feelings about
discussion.
that.
I think one of my favorite lines, I didn't say it though, but it was Tara likes tuna.
That's cute.
I mean, it's pretty naughty.
Woo! Hey! Ho!
What are we saying about Tara and Willow?
Thank you very much for your question. Question over here.
Sushi's great.
Put that on a shirt and wear that around your.
Sushi's great.
Albacore sushi is great.
Hi, my name is Carrie. I'm from
That makes
just
me
over the
happy.
bridge in Washington. I love watching you guys on Buffy, but I loved watching you guys in Supernatural. I loved recognizing you guys. I know the boys there are big pranksters. Did they ever get you guys on your episodes?
I was in the,
Supernatural, that's hilarious.
No, you know, I was in season 1. I don't think they were pranking anybody during season 1. They were very lovely. They were so kind. There were some of the producers were trying to break some turnaround rules, and the boys came and like told me like, watch out for this. They're gonna try and do this and blah 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 blah. And they were right. So they made sure that like their guest cast was protected, and they were very sweet. And they were just like big giant puppy dogs. So I enjoyed working with them a lot. So
Yeah, I thought they were great also. I didn't have any pranking done, but I did that episode with James Marsters, who at many cons tells those stories about their shenanigans and fondling under the table with feet. I don't know. They were very respectful to me, and you know, I have no pranking stories. Sorry to disappoint.
No, what stories?
Pranking stories.
I thought you said something.
What did you think I said?
spanking? Did she think she said spanking?
Oh, spanking. No, no fun there either.
I thought you
Sorry.
said no pegging story.
Pegging? I don't even know what that means.
No, I don't.
You know, do not Google it.
I don't either.
Don't
Don't
Google
worry.
it.
I don't know.
We're good.
Talk later.
Amber, where did that come from?
Oh my God, she's crying.
Where did that?
That's why I was like,
Tara, will you explain that to Cordy later, backstage?
Later.
She's been tasked with a very difficult job, apparently. Amy, will you help me out later? Okay. In the bum. Okay, got it.
Okay.
In the bum, got it.
Yeah. This is like when I had dinner with Charlene Harris and someone explained what a furry was to her. She writes all the True Blood books, the Suki Stackhouse. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Is this a new term? Pegging?
Fur, you know.
No, pegging. Is it a new term?
I think it's been around.
I'm 52.
I feel like we don't know it, so maybe it's just a generational thing.
No, I wouldn't say that. There's that moment. Have you seen the GIF that you text your friends, like where the train is not only just leaving the tracks, it's going clear off the cliff, and it's like that's. I'm just.
Is that what happened?
That's happening right now.
Okay.
So wait, have I just opened your New Horizons pegging and furries?
I knew
Julie
furries.
and I are
knew
gonna
furries.
go
I knew
Google
furries.
later. We'll go Google later.
Yeah, okay. We'll be like, Siri.
Don't Google.
We'll be
Don't
like,
Google.
Siri, what
Siri.
is?
Even better, yes, Siri. Do it like someplace where
Where's
lots
my
of people can
phone?
hear you.
I wish I had my phone right now.
Hey Siri, explain
Are you
pegging.
okay? Do we need Kleenex? Mom.
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. Oh Lord, what have I done?
Are there kids here? I apologize.
Well, we haven't even said anything.
I don't know.
They don't know. We don't know.
I can't wait for you guys to figure it out. I'm gonna come up to you on Sunday and be like, so.
Well, I mean, she kind of told me. Yes. Later. Moving on.
Favorite lines, Amber. Going once.
I think
no,
I said my
pranking,
favorite. What we were talking about
pranking,
something
sorry,
else.
pranking.
Supernatural
were
pranking.
Was I pranked? I was not pranked. But those guys were lovely. It was such a lovely set. Like, just really, really nice.
Yeah.
And I did get carried around by one of them.
Oh, you're so lucky.
Poor me. Yeah, it really sucked.
Thank you so much for the question and the detour that was provided as such. It's amazing. Hi, question over here.
Hi, my name's Grant. I'm from Seattle. Are you okay? Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Oh, by the way, if you Google that, have Safe Search on and do not look at images.
Safe search on.
Because
You know what? I'm gonna Google it on Charisma's phone.
Go for it.
It's like part of like a kink pantheon, right? Right?
Yes.
We put it in the kink world.
and thank you for making sure.
So my question is, if let's say that there is a goddess of casting who can send you back in time when they're casting the original Buffy, and she says you can choose any role you want except the one that you played, what would you choose?
I mean, it's just.
Oh, regardless of gender or age.
I guess Spike. He's as close to Cordy as I can think of in terms of snark and delivery and shenanigans and narcissism. So, Spike, I guess.
I couldn't do any. She kills it, but Juliet's amazing. But Drusilla is such an amazing character. I don't think I could do it. Like, she's so good. But Drusilla would be fun.
I don't have an answer for this. I'm
Just
sorry.
say Cordy.
Cordy. Because I used to have a different answer for this. I used to say I would be Joss, but now I don't want to be Joss. There you go.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
all so much.
Thank you, thank you. Question over here. Hi.
Hi, I'm Christy, and I got into Buffy late. I actually got into it because I saw Charisma on Charmed.
Oh.
And I loved you so much that I was like, okay, I'll watch Buffy.
Wow.
So, but Tara ended up being one of the more important characters to me, so thank you for your portrayal of her. So what I'd like to know is there anyone that any of the three of you have ever fangirled over?
I mean, yeah.
You mean on the show or just?
Oh no, just in general.
just
Like
in
who do you
general.
fangirl over?
Keanu Reeves.
Same? No, I was like, of course. No, I got to work with Jack Nicholson early on in my career, and it was such a surreal experience for me because I was such a huge fan, and I pretty much like fangirled all over that set, all over him, and he was very lovely, and he took it. He took my fangirling.
Your character
Was
sort of
fangirling
like
too, so
fangirling,
it worked.
perfect.
It worked. I was not acting that day.
That would
but,
be a good one. Oh my God.
But
that'd
it
be a
was,
good one.
he did whisper something to me at the end of the day in my ear, and to this day, I still don't know what he said. Because couldn't believe he was whispering in my ear. Like, I was just like, oh my God. So.
Your life could be very different
It was
now.
a missed opportunity. I heard, I didn't go to the rap party because I was working out of town, and I heard he was looking for me at the rap party.
I bet he was.
So many years ago.
I worked with Janine Garofalo on a film called Bye Bye Love back in the day, and I was such a fan of hers from The Ben Stiller Show and then Reality Bites, and I had no scenes with her, and I talked one of the ADs into like, yeah, Amber needs to be in for some fitting or so. So I got to be there on the day, and I kind of like quasi-stalked her a little bit, and she was so lovely and ended up like being so kind to me. I went to see a Weezer show with her.
Oh my God.
Like, I just like, I love you so much. And she was awesome. I think she is such a badass and still is like a total badass even now, like just forever will be the queen to me. I just love her.
You know, it's funny because you said stalking. I did have a moment like that as well at an Emmy party at Fox. Michelle Pfeiffer and David E. Kelley were together at a party, and I just followed around, you know, just observing. So yeah, we totally fan girl and boy out for sure.
A lot of squeeing going on.
Thank you for your question. Question over here. Hi.
Hi, good afternoon. Rob Earhart from down in Salem area. Thank you all for being here. I discovered Buffy when I was in college, and so this is kind of a squee moment for me, you know, the boyhood crushes and all that. But in any case, Buffy and Angel and the whole Whedonverse kind of created this pop culture phenomenon, and it expanded beyond just the TV show, the books and the comics and that kind of stuff. So having played such pivotal roles in that universe, did you guys continue to follow the shows or the comics or the other media after leaving the show?
You know, it really bums fans out when I answer this question because I never saw Buffy season 4 through 7 because I was on Angel 1 through 4. So it was very difficult when you're working minimum 14-hour days because 2 hours of makeup and hair and 12 hours of shooting and then half hour for lunch. So you're looking at 14 and a half minimum, and that's if you're on time, not including stunts or special effects or any of the other issues that can come in to play and make the day that much longer. So it really bums people out to hear that I didn't watch the show after or any of that. So did I watch, I mean, I'm not a comic book person, so I just
Nobody's perfect.
never lived in the past. It was just about going forward, and then I had a son, and it's just like life just keeps going, you know?
Yeah. I think too, like I've never watched any show after I've been on it. Because like an example is like with Desperate Housewives. I had watched every single episode of Desperate Housewives up until I was on it, and then they stopped watching it because the magic was ruined for me. It was like I knew when they walked into Bree's house that craft service was actually behind the door, not the house. Like her house was on a soundstage. So all of a sudden the magic is ruined. And just like you guys, when you sit down to watch television, I want to be entertained, and I don't want to be thinking about my job, and I don't want to be, you know, wrapped up in the past. And so I sit down and watch other shows. And so I'm the worst, and I don't know anything about comics. I don't have kids. You know, so I didn't follow any of it.
And I don't know about comics.
Okay. But yeah, I'm the absolute worst about it. I do remember one time
You do have fur babies.
yeah, and I do remember one time, it was after I poofed on Angel and the baby, and I was scrolling through TV, and then I saw you, and you were carrying my baby, and I was like, that's my baby, that's my kid. And like, because that's kind of the reaction you have when you see stuff like that. So that's when I learned, like, oh, I can't watch this stuff.
I'm too emotionally invested.
What about you?
I have not followed. I'm aware of stuff because I have friends that are and they tell, oh, this happened and that happened, and and I know that like Tara popped up in the comics, really pretty little panel, and but I haven't really followed. I'm familiar, but not.
Does that bum you out?
No, I'm not bummed out. It makes complete sense. But again, I really enjoy the continuation of the series in comic form after the
heard that
cancellation.
I'm like barely in the comics anyway, so. Cordy,
Right.
I've seen.
No, but right. So like, If you're not into comics and you're not a part of it, like, yeah.
I've seen some, like, when fans come and they
Yeah,
bring
fans
stuff.
come, yeah.
So I saw one that had Darla in it, but I don't know about anything else.
But the whole point is that like it moves you and it brings joy to that continuation. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a beautiful, wonderful thing. And I think because we were so entrenched in it, it's almost like it's like you. It's like looking at yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, I don't want to see me do like the rewatch. I don't want to see me making the weird face, or I don't want to remember that I wore the cruddy prom dress, or I was bigger than so and so. Like I should. All that stuff gets in your head, and so sometimes you have to sort of distance yourself from it. But that should never take away from the joy that it brings you.
I would be
That's
bummed
what's
if you guys were
important.
bummed, but that's the reality for me.
No, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We have time for one more question over here. Hi.
Hi, my name is Taylor. I'm from Seattle. I discovered Buffy when I was in middle school, so huge fan. I'm like crying inside right now. But I feel like there will inevitably be a Buffy reboot. So when that does eventually happen, what are some changes you would and would not like to see?
Well, I know they were talking about doing a reboot, and they were going to have Buffy was going to be POC, and I think that's really important. I think there was a real lack of diversity in our show, and I think if it ever is rebooted, I think that is really important. That the world that we all live in is a very diverse world, and until we are showing that in television and film to the extent that it is in reality, I think we have a problem. So if they reboot it, I think it needs to be that way. It's really important.
Thank you very much for your question. And with that, let's give it up a big round, warm of applause right now. Ladies, thank you, Amber Benson, Charisma Carpenter, and Julie Benz.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for joining us here at the main stage. And a quick reminder, if you do not understand something that was discussed, please ask a friend. Don't immediately Google things. Thank you.